Well, BioWare and Mass Effect fans are freaking out over something that they didn't need to freak out about, more than likely. I want to talk about it and how it combines a few other topics I've gotten into before. Let's jump into it. So, right here, we have a post by the Twitter account We Are Mass Effect. And we still remember the day that for some reason John Cena posted a Mass Effect image on Instagram, easily one of the most random things that's ever happened. They went on to say, like, hey, we don't believe this had anything to do with the show that is coming up that we know Amazon is making, and blah, blah, blah. Now, this likely wouldn't have gotten that big of a result. This account is still, kind of growing their audience a bit, except that Mike Gamble retweeted it, and that set off a bit of a firestorm. So, as you may expect, if you've been around the community at all, you will have seen that from big content creator down to, regular Joe fan, there were a lot of people freaking out about this. Oh, this is bad. I hate this. This is bad news. Blah 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 blah. And what it does is it kind of gets back to an issue I've talked about before. I've made a couple of videos recently, a video and a podcast. The video about how BioWare has a community problem. There is a lot of anxiety and anger and resentment, whether it's from Mass Effect fans who are mad about Andromeda, whether it's Dragon Age fans who are mad that their series, at least for the time being, is on the back burner if it's on a burner at all, and just people in general who are just mad at everything, right? They also have the issue of trying not to make the same mistakes that they did with Dragon Age, one of them being letting their franchise become irrelevant for the last decade and then trying to put out a new game without really trying to make it relevant again. That wraps around to this conversation here about how I think the community, if they want the next Mass Effect game to be successful, needs to chill out, and how BioWare needs to really do a good job of trying to make Mass Effect relevant again, whether it's bringing back the hype for old fans or new fans, or to just reintroduce the franchise to people who maybe haven't played any of the games yet. And the reaction to this post, this John Cena post is years old. It's from a while back, and just the fact that Mike Gamble posted this, I saw people specifically say like, "Oh, I hope Mike retweeting this doesn't mean what I think it means." I can appreciate the base logic behind being worried or upset about that, right? I can appreciate that, John Cena to most people is a professional wrestler, is kind of a goober. People don't really think of him as like a serious actor that they're probably hoping to see in a Mass Effect. The instant concern probably goes to, oh no, what if he's Shepard or something? I don't think that should be a concern, but I think what people need to acknowledge is that Mike Gamble retweets things and posts vague things all the time. Mostly it seems like just to get a little rise out of the community. He knows that everyone's paying close attention to his words, but also probably just to say things that he's excited about or whatever. This, he explained himself, was just like, I was just acknowledging this funny thing that happened a while back, right? But say John Cena was involved, right? He's probably not going to be the main character. But if you've seen him in like Peacemaker and some other shows that he's made appearances in, he's a perfectly adequate actor. In the right role, say they were, doing a show, or he was in a role where, they needed someone to be James Vega, right? Or even Grunt, someone like that. He and his personality could probably fit a role, and that shouldn't be instantly seen as a bad thing, right? This goes back to what I was talking about before with Relevance. This show that is coming, the Mass Effect Amazon show that's coming eventually, right? It's not, it's to make money, I guess. I'm sure there's money deals being made between EA and BioWare and Amazon. That's probably already happened to a point. But more than anything, at least in my opinion, this is a play for relevance. They want people in 2026 or 27, whenever the show comes out, to learn what Mass Effect is, to learn who Commander Shepard is, to learn who the Quarians are, and the Asari, and the Solarians, and the Krogan, and all these people, to learn who the Reapers are, and why they're so scary, and to learn about what they're doing, and why we have to stop them, right? And to learn about this universe and everything that's in the Mass Effect circle. So in 2, 3, 4 years, when they release another game, the conversation isn't just about, Andromeda or the trilogy. The way with, Dragon Age the Veilguard, as it was coming out, everyone was just comparing it back to the first two games or Inquisition, because there was nothing really in the middle. I know there technically was, but nothing relevant, right? They probably don't want that with Mass Effect again, because I think that did hurt, among other things, Dragon Age of the Veilguard. It just wasn't a relevant franchise anymore because it hadn't had a game come out in a decade. And it's crazy, and we need to comprehend that, sure, the Mass Effect trilogy wrapped up in 2012-ish, right? That was already 13 years ago. And sure, Mass Effect Andromeda came out just a few years ago. It will likely be out. It will likely be more than a decade since Andromeda by the time the next game comes out. So they need to make the franchise relevant again. EA needs to. Mass Effect developers need to. BioWare needs to as a studio, if they want this game to be successful. So what I'm going to throw out there is for people to be a little more open-minded. The show isn't going to be what you want. I can almost guarantee that right now. If you're a Mass Effect fan, the show is almost certainly not going to be what you want it to be. It's not even going to be what I want it to be. I want it to be an animated show so they can have the actual voices of the people come back and do it. They're probably not doing that. And I suspect Mark Meir isn't getting casted as Shepard, or Jennifer Hale as other Shepard, right? But if you want the next Mass Effect game to be successful, if you want BioWare to maybe get back to some relevance that they once had, you shouldn't be so quick to freak out and be upset about, some little detail about the show, or if they do an animated series later on, or when the actual next game starts getting shown to us, and maybe it's not exactly what you wanted. There needs to be a little open-mindedness. If you need an example, I'll take myself. When I finished the trilogy for the first time, I had this exact idea of what I wanted the next Mass Effect game to be. And much of what we've seen teased in the last 3-4 years leads me to believe that I'm not getting the next Mass Effect game that I want. I was annoyed for a minute, and I'm over it, because I want the franchise to continue. I want to learn about more from that universe. I want more entries into this series of games and other types of media. And because of that, I'm willing to let go all of my own personal desires and wishes for the game, and to be open-minded. It doesn't mean I'm just going to like whatever they throw at us. If I don't like the next game, if I don't like the show, if I don't whatever, I'll talk about that. But I want this studio, these characters, this franchise to exist, and to see more of it, and to expand. And I implore everyone else to have the same attitude of, let's see what they've got, rather than, it's not exactly what I wanted. Just an idea. If you want more Mass Effect videos, if you want more gaming news and all kinds of stuff like that, subscribe to this channel, please. Hit that like button so more people see the video. If you really want to support what I'm doing here, consider becoming a member of the channel. You get videos like this one just a hair early, as well as a few other perks. If you want to see my other content or see other ways to support me, check out the links in the video description. That's all I've got for this one, so until next time.